Good morning, guys. So I'm about to go do a devotional, and this is in here, and I've talked a little bit about this before, but this idea of what our purpose here on earth is, right? And man was created to glorify God. And so our purpose is to glorify Him, and our purpose and the plan He has for each one of us looks differently, and that presents itself in tons of different ways, and won't look the same for all of us, but ultimately it comes down to the same thing. We're here to glorify Him. And so then sin comes in when we try to fulfill our own purpose for our lives. All right, like we create our own plan, our own purpose, and we pour into that, and we serve that, and we resist God's plan for our lives. And I think that presents itself in a ton of different ways, right? We create this, like, we want a good reputation, we want people to like us, we want to make a certain amount of money, and we want to have a certain professionalism and career accolades, and we want to acquire a certain amount of wealth, a certain amount of comfort. We want our kids to be successful, or we want to make our parents proud, or whatever it may be. These aren't bad things, but we tend to make them our purpose when they're not. Our purpose is to glorify God. And so, of course, we're going to be unfulfilled. Of course, we're going to be never satisfied and unhappy and frustrated and wore out and tired, because what you were created for, you're not serving, right? If I made a cup and I created that cup and it didn't hold water, well, a cup that doesn't hold liquid is useless. It's not serving its purpose. If we're not serving the purpose of glorifying God, then our life is going to be meaningless. And so, of course, you're going to be unsatisfied and unfulfilled in that. And so, I've used this example before, the Garden of Eden, right? The Garden of Eden, we think of this like utopia, this perfect, like heaven-like place where it's luscious and beautiful. But what makes Eden so great is that man had purpose in it. God creates Adam to work it. So God creates Adam, and then immediately it says He puts him to work, and says to work and keep the Garden of Eden, right? So man was created, immediately he had purpose, and that's what made Eden this utopia, is that man had purpose, and his purpose was being fulfilled, and that's why Eden was so perfect. We have purpose. God has created you so He can use you, and so you can glorify Him. But what are you really serving right now? Are you serving yourself? Are you serving your family? Are you serving your career? What is it? Or is your life really completely an offering to God?